My prayers have been answered, because on paper, the glasses I'm wearing now are the closest that any company have come to for my vision of what smart glasses should be, which in my opinion is a form factor that's indistinguishable from real glasses, but offer a display of visual information. But controversially, I don't think they should obscure my vision with mixed reality bling and glitter like so many modern attempts of smart glasses seem to try to do. These are the Halliday Smart Glasses, which if you read consumer technology news, you might have heard of already. They made a massive wave recently at CES and were one of the most talked about products and brands. Well, I've had them on my face now for the past week to find out if these really are worth all of the hype they received. But as a disclaimer, these are a prototype. They're still in development, and I've been very lucky to get my hands on a prototype to share my opinions with you, but being a prototype, there may be some things that are a bit prototype-ish. Potentially a little bit more rough around the edges than the final consumer release will be, but keep your mind open here because you can certainly see potential. Now, most smart glasses in the last year or so use something called holographic waveguide, which is a technology that allows you to overlay information in front of your very eyes. Now, whereas this in its own right is a cool kind of tech, in glasses format, currently anything that uses this type of technology is bulky. The lenses are big and obvious and often flat as a pancake, and the glasses frames themselves end up being a lot bigger to house large batteries to compensate for the higher power draw that waveguide uses. And all of that adds up to some extremely goofy eyewear that you wouldn't be seen dead wearing. I mean, let's be honest here. If you saw someone wearing the newest Snapchat specs in public, you'd bully them out of principle. It just so happens, though, that Halliday have gone against the grain with these and not used anything remotely similar to waveguide. If we were to take them off and take a peek in the top right corner of the frame, there sits a very small round object that Halliday are calling their digi-window. And it's supposedly the world's smallest display module at just 3.6mm diameter. The image that I can see through this is monocolour and everything is bright green. It sort of reminds me a little bit of either the Matrix or those green computer displays of the 1980s. The glasses essentially project the image directly into the upper right part of my peripheral vision for what Halliday describes looking at a 3.5-inch screen. The downside of it is it's so small that I have absolutely no chance in hell in showing you what I can see with my own eyes. I even went and bought a macro probe lens to see if I could get a video of the display. It's even too small for that, but you can see just about the menu system in there. But to give you a better idea of the experience, I would say that size-wise, it's like having a watch-sized display of information floating in the top right of your vision at around 15 centimeters away. But before you use it, you'll need to do some micro adjustments to the digi-window to get it positioned just right, so that you can get it in your peripheral vision correctly. You've got the ability to move the digi-window left and right and also angle it further up or down, and you can twist it to change the focus to fit your own prescription so that you can view it no matter what your eyesight is like. And I believe that the adjustment range of the optical module that you can adjust for is from -800 to +200. It does take a little bit of getting used to find the perfect spot, but once you do, it stays in position. So when you put the glasses on, it will always display it in that sweet spot straight away. It would be important to note here actually that the display is not constantly on. Even when it is, it's not necessarily obvious unless you pay specific attention to it by flicking your eyes to the top right of your vision. When you get a notification or call, you'll see a little flash of information in the top corner. Look like a little green light just out of your peripheral, and you won't actually see what that information is until you look at it. But on that point, that green light is bright. Insanely bright. So bright that on 100% brightness, it'll cause screen burn in your own eyesight. Now, I messaged Halliday saying surely that can't be right, and true enough, they messaged back explaining that as a prototype, the brightness was adjustable far beyond what the final consumer version will be limited to, simply so they could test different levels of brightness in different environments. Think of it as an unrestricted or delimited model in its testing phase. Incidentally, this is one of the benefits of this type of display technology over waveguide lenses, which are typically much darker and unable to produce good imagery during the day or in brighter environments. Oh, and because of the monotone colour and the very, very, very small projection display, despite being supremely bright, you'll find that the battery life will last a lot longer too. Now, Halliday are claiming that you'll get around 12 hours of use out of the finished version, which obviously I'll need to wait to verify. But if so, that's a long way ahead of any other type of display in smart glasses I've come across. There's a few other benefits as well to this style of display, and one big one is the fact that it's hidden in the frame, meaning that no one knows that these are smart glasses. The display is so neatly hidden that it makes using smart glasses a particularly subtle experience, and less intrusive not just for me, the wearer, but for anyone interacting with the wearer as well. And it means that the lenses of the actual glasses can be whatever you want. You could have prescription lenses, blue light lenses, sunglasses, literally whatever style you want. And you can change them at will because all of the tech is built into the frame. At the moment, I'm just using dummy lenses, which might be a bit reflective on the camera, but you get the gist. I think if I was going to choose, I'd probably have either sunglasses or blue light. Or interchangeable. Doesn't really matter, you can pop them out. But perhaps the only other real telltale sign that these are not a regular pair of glasses is hidden neatly on the back of the arm, where you'll see a USB port underneath the rubber bung. Now, this might not be as sleek as some proprietary solution, but it is universal, and it's very likely that you'll have a USB-C cable with you when leaving home for extended periods, which in turn means that you're not reliant on carrying around a specific cable, or worse, a giant hard case, like some modern smart glasses need. So now I've run you through the technology. What can these actually do? Well, as a prototype, it's been a little bit limited with what I've been able to play with, essentially. But navigating the interface is as simple as pressing the button on the underside here or tapping the raise section here, which will wake the screen up that I can see in the digi window. It will first display a notification count, time and date, and you can then tap the raised area here, which is essentially a touchpad to access the menu. Now, incidentally, I've always hated with a burning passion when smart glasses or VR headsets or anything you wear on your face like earbuds or headphones, I hate it when they require you to swipe or tap to use them. I find it cumbersome at best and bloody uncomfortable at worst. Having to do things like tap and swipe and all that sort of nonsense with something that's strapped to your face that you can't even see is just stupid. Whoever led the way and originally thought stuff like this was a good idea, there is a special place in hell for them. But when I found out that Halliday have an alternative control method, well, this excited me, and it's not voice. Halliday have decided to manufacture this. Now, this pairs to the glasses, which then acts like a little touchpad instead of having to use the one built into the frame. When I found this out, I wanted to scream with joy. This is exactly the sort of thing that I've been waiting for. A smart ring which allows me to control the facial interface. It's the sort of thing you'd see in sci-fi films, and I can't believe that it's not a more widely done thing. But swiping on either the glasses or the ring will allow you to cycle through the menu system, which displays the different apps that you can use. You're able to check your notifications and messages, which is simple enough. You've got music control so that you can play and pause and find out what songs you're listening to. Although the glasses do have some small speakers, however, I wouldn't necessarily consider these to be particularly pleasurable for music. On the lower volume, it's listenable, but on the higher volume it gets a little piercing. Don't know if that will be the case in the consumer version, but it is in the prototype. But if you've got something like headphones paired up to your phone, you can still control the music and view what you're listening to through the glasses whilst the audio comes through the better headphones. But what the speakers are suitable for mostly, in my opinion, as it stands as they are right now, are phone calls. But this is another app on here so that you can call people and the audio will play through the glasses and your voice will come through the onboard mic. There is some audio leakage, which is the very nature of having tiny little speakers facing in your ear rather than actual in-ear solutions, but it's not too bad. I would just strongly advise that you not have any saucy conversations with your significant others whilst in public.
With your touch, I'm as responsive as the newest touchscreen. Let's switch to manual mode. Just you, me, and no shortcuts. Tonight, we're charging the battery. You better be ready. I found the hotspot, and it's all yours to explore. Let's turn on Bluetooth and make a real connection.
Now there's also reminders which you can set to flash up, and then perhaps one of the more powerful tools is just underneath this with the translation app. This essentially gives you subtitles in real life. So to test this out, I thought I'd watch a little video of someone talking Chinese and I'll do my best to live translate it with the translation that's coming through the glasses.
嗨，大家好，我叫陈婉瑜，然后我是生在中国吉林长春，我的母语是中。
So she's basically saying, hi guys, my name is Chen, and her native language is Chinese.
但是也可以说是普通话。不过在我的老家，也就是应该是东北，中国的东北，我们大家说东北话。东北话，其实只是。
But she doesn't essentially sound normal. She actually has a northeastern dialect, and it's considered dirty or strange or funny. A bit like northern people are, funnily enough. Well, it really does work. Now, it's not always going to be perfect. It's a very small screen, so there's only so much text it can display at once. But if someone is talking very fast, you might struggle to keep up. And likewise, sometimes with languages, it can take a sentence or two to understand the entire context. One word late in a sentence might change the whole meaning of a paragraph. But because you've only got a small display, the earlier dialogue will be gone, even if the context has changed. You can always go through the app and check a full transcript though, so you can go backwards and see the context, which is very, very handy. Now, another power function for me though is the teleprompter, which in the teeny tiny menu system, which I can't possibly show you, is called Cheat Sheet. This will display a script of whatever information you've pre-written on your phone, and it will display it on the display. Now at this point you can only swipe between the pages with the ring or the glasses, but it's still handy for prompts if you're doing something like a presentation. If you're using, say, a word-for-word script, it might be a little bit weird because you'd be constantly looking up rather than engaging with the people that you're meant to be engaging with. But I would love to see Halliday update this so that the script listens to you talking and automatically scrolls through the text based on what you've already said. That way, if you forget your lines or forget where you are in a presentation, a quick glance up, you'll be back on track because it'll be enough of a prompt and it'll know where you are. But as it stands, you have to swipe through frantically to find the right page whilst looking up, which might look a bit odd, especially if the watchers don't know you're wearing smart glasses. Hold on a minute. Now, I also asked them about this too, and they replied saying that the final version will support automatic scrolling, so fingers crossed we see that for release. And they also said that they'll be adding navigation and audio memo features for launch, the latter of which will supposedly transcribe speech to text, summarize it, and then send all of that information to your app. Now, all of these features are good, but the main star of the feature set for me is the AI. And that's a rare thing for me to say. You know my opinion by now that I'm just sick to the teeth of the fact that everything these days has to have some form of AI integration as a buzzword bingo on the spec sheet. I wouldn't be surprised if someone releases a ChatGPT toaster at some point soon, if they already haven't. But like everything, the Halliday glasses have AI built in. But I have to say that these make the best use of AI that I've seen so far. Firstly, they're quick. Now, normally peripheral devices with AI are very slow, like was that horrible Humane Pin or the Rabbit R1? But this is lightning fast, almost as fast as using the native apps. Now, there's two forms of AI. There's a standard, more conversational AI, which will listen to your questions and have a conversation with you about whatever it is you're asking of it, which is very much like ChatGPT or Grok, and you can see the transcript as you're talking in the right-hand side. But the second form, which I think is the real game changer, is that they've added a companion mode, which is basically like having a personal assistant with you at all times, giving you contextual information based on what the glasses can hear. So, for example, we could be talking about our favourite landmarks, and I can't remember the name of a particular place. The contextual AI will take the conversation as a whole and understand what you're looking for and flash the name of that place up on the display. To test this, I was having a chat with a wife, and I gave it a really obscure description to see if it would get what I wanted. And I said, I really like that place in France, but I can't remember the name of it. It's like a giant metal baguette. And it said Eiffel Tower. That's crazy, because that's exactly what I was thinking of. But I can see masses and masses of use for this particular feature, both in social and professional settings. And there's so many ways that Halliday could increase this functionality. At the moment, the context is more from a broader knowledge base. Think of an encyclopedia on your face. But if these things could tap into your calendars and your emails and your messages or your contacts, it could give you tons of personal contextual information. For example, maybe you're trying to organise a date to meet up with a bunch of mates. Your glasses could flash up your available dates by checking your schedule to see what you've got free without you even asking. It will just know that you're having that conversation and give you those dates. This is the first time that I've seen an AI serve proactive contextual information through a language model by just listening to your conversation, and then it's delivering it in such a visual way. Probably important to mention here though, the glasses aren't doing this 24/7. You actually have to activate this particular app by going through the menu, so don't worry about your conversations being listened to if you don't want them to. Besides, you're already being listened to by our lizard alien overlords through Facebook and Amazon. But those are the features that I've been able to play around with at this prototype stage. And I think all of them have been very fun, very easy to use, and are particularly useful. But for now, we must talk about the price, which is actually lower than I expected. I believe the product's RRP will be somewhere in the region of $489, but there are discounts available if you pre-order a pair. They're on Kickstarter, which means it's disclaimer time. It may be that by the time you watch this episode, it'll be available to purchase directly, but if it's still only available through crowdfunding, all of the usual precautions apply. When backing a product through this method, there can be some risks associated, and all of the risks are yours to bear entirely. If you do want to find out more about backing products and the risks associated with crowdfunding, you can find out more at the trust and accountability pages of the crowdfunding website, which I'll link below for you, along with the link to back this project. But the question is, should you get a pair of these for yourselves? Well, as this is a first product from Halliday, and the model I've been testing is very much a prototype, I've perhaps given them a little bit more leeway than a fully released product will get. That said, the core functionality is there, and they are very useful indeed, and they're almost exactly what I wanted from smart glasses. I mean, they even do a bunch of different coloured frames as well to suit different styles, but despite my love for the potential, it doesn't mean that I've not found a few things I think could be improved from the prototype that I've gotten hold of. And one of the biggest what moments comes to the ring. As I mentioned earlier, the glasses have USB-C, which is handy. The ring, however, is slightly perplexing because they've chosen to use a proprietary charging solution with an unusual fitting on the inside of the ring. If going away from home, it means you'll have to take a separate cable if you want to make sure it stays charged, which seems like a bit of an oversight. Supposedly they're shipping a USB-C adapter with it, but it's still another thing you'll need to remember when travelling. But another thing with the Ring, I would love to see perhaps a collaboration here with a brand like Ringcon or Aura to build health tracking and to make it more functional than just a control pad for the glasses. But perhaps another thing would be, I'd like a camera. But then again, if they added a camera, the frames would be bigger, the battery would be bigger, and the whole thing would be bulkier and heavier. And currently it weighs just 35 grams, which probably makes these the lightest wearable smart glasses that have a visual display I've ever seen. But other than those comments, the hardware is sleek and unobtrusive, and the software experience is simplistic yet useful and easy to use. And you know what? These have really got me excited for what Halliday will do next with smart glasses. They will appeal to a lot of people, I think, because whilst the functionality is somewhat similar to Google Glass, the execution is far less space age. These blend in for all intents purposes, unless you take a really good long hard look or potentially spot the ever so slightly green glow on my right eyelid. You'd have absolutely no idea that I'm wearing smart glasses that are currently feeding me a visual overlay. I mean, God, I wish I'd had these during my university exams. Oh, that'd make things so much easier. They're exactly what I've always wanted. Now, I recognise that this form factor might not be what you personally think smart glasses should be. I think we're at a point in time where we all have different visions and expectations of the technology. For me, I want to avoid the hellscape of having things like augmented reality ads projected on the environment all the time, but I still want hands-free visual information just supplementary to my vision rather than a replacement. And Halliday have gone and done just that. It's early days. They've got a long way to go, but as a first-gen product, they've got my attention. What do you guys think of the Halliday smart glasses? From everything you've seen today or perhaps read about, do you think there's something you'd be interested in, or are they yet just another screen to look at? Is this how you envisage smart glasses being, or are you wanting to be able to walk with your virtual AI girlfriend projected alongside you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below so we can all have a good chinwag about it. And if today's episode helped at all understanding the Halliday glasses, make sure you return the favour and hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And remember, I'll leave a link below to the project so you can take a look at them for yourselves. But other than that, guys, I'll see you back for another episode of STU'S Reviews soon.